guys, and welcome to Equestria at War 2. This update has been long awaited and anticipated by a lot of people, including myself. I don't even know how to feel now that it's finally out. It's quite something. It's hard to describe. But yeah, here we are with a completely new continent that just comparing sizes, looks about the same size as the other two combined, but I have to assume that the provinces may be bigger. I don't know though. Regardless, this is Zebrica. A lot of people have worked for a very, very long time to make this possible, and it's finally here. But yeah, we'll have a fun time today, I'm sure. But before we get started, huge thanks to all of the devs and testers and artists who work on this mod. As I said before, a lot of people have put a lot of work into this, and this mod means a lot to me and a lot of other people. For those of you who don't know, I played this mod every other day for like a year, so I've become rather familiar with it and made so many videos on it, it's crazy. Also note, obviously, all of these countries don't have focus trees. I believe just mainly the northern region here has focus trees. I think there's 10 to 15-ish that have them, along with, of course, Wingbardy, the Italy of the mod, having some land off the coast of Zebrica and some on it, and having some interaction with it. All these countries here have the Legacy of the Storm national spirit. It looks like there was a Storm King that invaded. That is very interesting. I'm sure that that'll become important in some path. Also, it appears that the Equestria at War devs figured out how to add impassable terrain into the game. There's now impassable terrain everywhere. They're really having fun with this. I'm sure we'll all love this new impassable terrain. I'm so excited. I love impassable terrain. It's really hot. Nothing really quite hits it like impassable terrain. So our capital here is Mount Ares, or Eris. I'm just gonna say Aris. It's not just the capital of Hippogriffia. It is the heart of the Hippogriff civilization. Just outside the city, you'll find the Harmonizing Heights, one of the most sacred locations in all of Hippogriffia. The heights are famous for their natural beauty, diverse flora and fauna, and the unique acoustics from which they get their name. Yeah, the Harmonizing Height. That's so cute. I'm guessing, is that this? I guess. Our industry is decent. It's nothing to be sad about, nothing amazing though, but 7 civs at start is about the best you'll get anywhere. It's mainly opportunities for expansion in this mod that matter most. I guess we'll just do the political path first too, because the industry stuff doesn't look too appealing. Notably, we do start with 20 divisions, which is quite a large amount of divisions, including 1 veteran division, our Royal Hippogriff Guard. And we have our new Hippogriff unique race technologies, but we're just gonna do our normal research. We'll hit that eventually. Hopefully we'll get a special race specific buff. And so it seems our country has a sort of army and navy mechanic similar to the one that Japan has in vanilla, but instead of that, it's more event focused, and it's between the sea ponies and the hippogriffs, which is interesting. And we already have 2 choices. We're going to go with sea pony autarky instead of designated trade ports. We'll then be able to work our way down here to, as the war approaches, the socialist and liberal clubs. And that's a pretty nice book cover. I like the design. It's very slick. It almost looks like, to make this event photo, they actually printed out this like cover in real life and took a picture of it and then uploaded the picture into the event. If they did that, I'm very impressed. It might just be Photoshop though. I'd really like to believe that that book actually exists in real life and like one of the developers. Also, I just noticed, I don't think our little capital area here is connected to the mainland through straits crossings. Like, this is connected, but there's no connection to this. So this is actually like an island that people would have to naval invade. That makes us very defensive. I'm guessing the Storm King maybe never even conquered this area. Also, I just noticed that this area is not core states. We just control them. They're core states of a country that doesn't exist because we occupy that. And I really like this photo. focus, the Anti-Harmonic Activities Committee. Foreign ideologies and interests can be found everywhere, and many of these are driven by interests directly opposed to our own, and we must carefully weigh these ideas and determine which ones are threats to our way of life. This can only lead in a good direction, I'm sure. This is not going to lead us down a dark path. We wouldn't be playing a Hoi4 overhaul mod if it didn't, let's be honest. And this here is beautiful too. We can get an extra research slot very fast here, which is always a good idea. The faster you can get a research slot, the more that research slot can do. Some of these countries look very interesting. Unfortunately, they don't have focus trees, so it's probably impossible to play as them and have fun, but it makes it exciting for what they'll add over the course of the next several years. I think it took them about like 3-ish years or something to finish Griffonia, so I'd guess it would be about another 3 years or so for them to finish this. But yeah, it's exciting. There's a lot of interesting stuff, including an at least 4-way civil war down here. There may have been another faction too that has already capitulated, but who knows? It all looks very mysterious, like the Thunderbringer. I'm assuming this area down here has something to do with the like Thunder King guy who took over all of these areas up here, because this symbol matches this symbol, the Stormland. Yeah, we'll figure that out eventually, I'm sure. Also, I'd love to play as this cat guy, only to go conquer the dogs all the way on the other continent. Oh no, minutes to midnight. What are they doing? We can finally start doing some really decent focuses too, never forgetting our roots, getting a lot of political power and stability, and get a national spirit. We who brought down the Storm King. We must not forget who we are. To ensure this, our children will receive a thorough... Okay, I see what this actually is. Yeah. You won't indoctrinate me, flying hippogriff and sea ponies. I don't know what I'm saying. You can finally get an advisor too. The friendship school graduate. That's so wholesome. I kind of just want to get it because of how wholesome it is. And now I think we'll do the race-specific technology to get the extra construction speed. Nothing else seems better than that right now. It's mostly just sea stuff and bonuses to recon, which I doubt I'll use. And there's been an uprising in Colthage. Some constitutionalists fighting against the evil people. I don't know. I don't know if we even care who wins here. I don't even know if we're enemies with them. We're just the cool guys, the guys who must not forget who we are. Oh, I noticed we have a special chief of the intelligence agency thing advisor that we can recruit. She is very powerful, so we will get her. I can't wait for this anti-radicalism to make us become the radicalism that we seek to destroy. The perfect narrative structure. And we've gotten several events that have increased communist support, and we have decisions to decrease that. But we will not be decreasing that. We'll actually be weakening our own ideology with the decisions, because we want the opposing ideologies to become more popular than our main ones, so that we can unlock this branch on the left here. And according to this focus here, to unlock that, the neutrality and supremacy support have to exceed harmony. So Heiress First, Rally in Starfield. The supporters of the controversial Aris First movement gathered together for a rally in Starfield, waving flags or photographs of Queen Novo. The Aris First supporters cheered and chanted their patriotism in a rowdy display. When their leader Raftwood got on the stage, the cheers grew even louder, quickly turning to boos as he told of the latest insults coming from the zebras. Cowards, they call us, he exclaimed to the crowd. I have it right here from the mouth of a political chief in Colthage. The hippogriffs boast of their victory over the Storm King, as though fighting a single lucky battle after years of hiding can compare to the grueling campaigns we zebras fought against him all across the continent. We saved them, and this is how they treat us. And then they come to the Zumidian refugee zone and exploit our generosity. No more, I say. Queen Nova was right to retreat to Equestria. She was right to emerge when she did, and we shall suffer no further slander to our people or our queen. They certainly are enthusiastic. Yeah, nicely said. Oh, I also should mention too, we have underwater construction because of the sea ponies, so we can make underwater civilian factories, which I think this is a good decision. I think that's a nice trade. Though if they ever get independent, we lose all of the underwater factories, of course. I like how they have to clarify that dead sea ponies cannot be demobilized. I assume someone was confused when they were testing this or something, but that's a very funny thing to have to clarify. Rally in Squidville? Squidville? Where's a Squidville? Stupid city name. Is it even a real place? I don't even think it's a real place. Yeah, and here's the, or at least one of the interfering in Zebrica paths for Wing Barty, where they can build up their little outpost here and even invade the cats and make them like a protectorate or something. Oh, and they're applying for a rally permit, and that's very respectful. It's nice when they apply for these things, and since they're applying, we might as well give it to them. That's very nice of them to do things the official way. Here it is. Heiress First forms government. My creatures say they want you. I'm not convinced. Queen Novo sat on her throne, the room entirely empty except for her and two hippogriffs kneeling at her claws. Raftwood slowly lifted his head. My queen, we seek only the preservation of the nation, the prosperity of its people. Crack Lightning suddenly cut him off, and the removal of all your enemies, your highness. Novo looked down from her throne unto the two hippogriffs. She was the one in power here. She was the one who had the choice of whether to allow these two to take control. They should be at every disadvantage. Raftwood didn't even enjoy his hippogriff form, and yet she felt fear. Fear of what was to come around every corner. Dark futures lurked. But was what stood before her any brighter? She had to trust her creatures, her hippogriffs, and her sea ponies. They said they wanted these two in control. She had to do it. She had to. She just had to. Raftwood, seeing the distress of his queen, spoke up again. Your Highness, I understand this must be stressful for you. The enemies of Hippogriffia still gather on the horizon, and we have made you aware of it. We keep no secrets from you, and never shall. The nation must be defended. Crack Lightning rose from the ground, keeping his head low. He handed Novo a piece of paper. Here are the requested appointments. Looking them over, Novo breathed, nodded slowly, and tapped a bell on her desk. A hippogriff entered, and she addressed her. Take the message to Equestria. I have chosen to appoint these two to form a government. Aris Eternal. And here we are, a new government. With these two guys. It's a really awkward position they're in for the portrait. Anyways, the other branches are now hidden, and we can expand the AHAC's jurisdiction. Okay, so it's been a little while. Not very much happened over the past couple years. We've just been waiting for a looming crisis due to this weird leadership. It's probably because this portrait is so very awkward that they have to have some sort of leadership crisis. Also, a faction has formed. I will not be surprised if they invade us. At least I think this kingdom will be on our side, maybe. Elsewhere in the world, it doesn't look like anything too interesting or unique is happening. Okay, and now we only have one leader, so the portrait has been resolved. That is good, I guess. We now have new focuses, but they all require us to be at war, so I assume we're going to be in a defensive war soon. We'll just have to wait for that to commence. And we cannot manually switch our conscription law due to this annoying isolation economy law, but we can do this focus here to go into limited conscription so we can get some more manpower to field some more divisions before we're attacked. And the Storm King's heir, that civil war down in the south, ended. Without a focus tree though, I think we're safe from any sort of revived threat from there. We'll also start building the railroads up a little just in preparation for the fight. Oh, and perfect timing. They decided to declare war on this kingdom the second our war goal was done, so good timing, though we will have to reinforce this border now. I guess these divisions are ready. We'll just deploy them, put them in this army, put this army on this border just in case. Reroute, maybe a few divisions over there too, but I think we should be good. And here it is, my first war in Zebrica. Let's see how it goes. 7 divisions are in this port. They are all going to die. And we were able to do this focus now. The mountain awakens. So we got that event. We'll finally be able to go off of isolation, which is a miracle. And then we can go into extensive conscription because we are out of pony power. And we've somehow lost naval supremacy, which isn't good. I thought we would have that because we were like the island nation. So I just kind of assumed that we would be able to control the seas, but that is not the case. I can confirm we do not control the seas right now. We at least can just use the divisions we were going to use to naval invade to instead protect the home islands. They naval invaded me and took my main port, but then they just walked out of my main port, so now they're encircled. Very smart. And we finally took Carthage, so I guess we can salt the ground. So I think we should be able to finish this up now with all these divisions freed up. And they're done. That was more difficult than I expected, but it wasn't too terrible or anything. I just miscalculated the navy thing, and now we have another section of our focus tree to go through. The glory of victory, triumphant will, the dream of hegemony, and the birth of hegemony. One of Crack Lightning's positions, indeed, officially his primary position, was Lord Keeper of the Royal Seal. In reality, he was so much more, but today, for the first time, he had cause to actually use his position. Smiling smugly, he pressed the grand seal of the House of Novo upon the articles of surrender he just forced on their hated foes. Unconditional surrender. The words were the most beautiful Crack Lightning knew. Not for them, the peace with honor, nor the punitive treaty, nor the half-hearted occupation. Our victories have only begun. And so now we can get the ability to get some cores on the mainland, not like all cores on all of this stuff, but we'll do that and try to get what we can. Anyway, that's it for this first playthrough. I plan on doing some other paths for this nation too, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, I'll see you all next time.